Hey guys, it's Danny. Today we are going to talk about orchid flowers losing their colors and becoming pale. Why does that happen? Because I'm sure some of you at least have experienced it. And well, I do believe there are two main reasons for why this can happen, which we're gonna talk about today. Hopefully we're gonna keep it short and sweet. First reason why orchid flowers lose color is genetics. Yes, they will do that even if they're healthy, even if they get the best care in the world, the highest humidity, the best water, the best everything. If they're genetically predisposed to do that, they will do that. And here I have the best example to show you. I'm sure this will leave some of you heartbroken. This is Phalaenopsis Orchid golden leopard. This is how she looks like now. I'm gonna give you some side-by-sides. When it first opens, it has the most gorgeous contrast between yellow and white. It has a wonderful pattern of yellow-orange on a white background. And it's just breathtaking, and I'm sure many of you saw it in my videos and you put it on your wish lists. And if you remember, I did warn you from last year, the color will fade. Look at it now. It's about 2 months or so after it opened, and while the flowers, most of them are still on, there's nowhere near the same contrast between this pattern and the background. And well, it's absolutely normal. There's nothing wrong with the orchid, it is just genetics. And it's not the only orchid that does that. When it comes to Phalaenopsis, typically they tend to lose color. Another one that does it is the Picotee, something with Picotee. I'm gonna try to find the name. I'm gonna try to put it on the screen because I had it. It's that wonderful yellow orchid that has some brush strokes that are reddish. Well, as time goes by, that red transforms into a pale pink. And by the end of it, you cannot even distinguish much of the pattern. Again, genetics. There's nothing you can do to stop the process. They will lose this color, whether it's an outcome of hybridization or just some genes, recessive genes that got in there from the species. I don't really know why they do that, but there are many orchids who do. And typically, they're beautiful ones. There are orchids which do not lose their color, and usually the pink ones that don't have any yellow. Maybe there's something to be said about yellow Phalaenopsis, because I have another one that's losing color and it's yellow. Hold on. This one, I actually have an ID for her. This is Phalaenopsis hornglin. Not sure how to pronounce that. It's a wonderful yellow mini Phalaenopsis with a red lip. And as time goes by, the yellow kind of starts to fade from the flowers. It's not going to be completely gone, but compared to how the flowers look like when they first open, there's definitely some fading of color there. So maybe these yellow orchids are more prone to discolorations, although there are some yellow Phalaenopsis that stay strong, that's for sure. I don't really know, but definitely genetics plays a very big role, and if this happens to you with at least these two orchids, don't worry about it. It's a thing that will happen no matter what. And the second reason why orchid flowers will lose color is because of a sudden change in environment. Now, in this instance, the flowers that are already open, they will not necessarily lose color, not to this extent, but the new buds that will open in your environment, they will be probably paler than the previous flowers. The flowers will be tinier as well. This is a sign of stress, but it's an understandable stress because the orchid leaves the nursery, goes into the flower shop, from the flower shop goes into your car or on the road, on the bus, and then it comes into your home. There's this whole change of environment which happens very sudden, and sometimes the temperature can swing so much and the degree of humidity will be so different that definitely that will create an amount of stress on the orchid, and the flowers are the first ones to show it. The orchid will not allocate the same amount of energy into these flowers. It will try to reserve some for whatever is happening in the environment, so the new buds that open will look a little bit different than the previous buds. You can observe lack of pattern, you can observe discoloration, smaller flowers, even sometimes color streaks. So you can have some stuff happening to the new flowers, and that's absolutely understandable. The next time the orchid will bloom, if it's not moved around all the time to different temperatures and humidity levels, then it should absolutely be normal. All of the flowers will have the same size, the same coloration, and the same pattern. So those are the two instances that I feel are the most common ones for orchids simply losing their color on the flowers. It is very common. The most important thing to look for is the health of the orchid. If the orchid is healthy, then everything is fine. It's probably a genetic thing or some changes in the environment. And I realized that I make it sound like all the orchids will do that. No, actually there are more orchids that don't necessarily change color than there are ones that fade. And just to show you a mini Phalaenopsis which does not lose its color quite at all. This one, I sadly do not have an ID for it, but the flowers are pretty waxy. I think it's more on the polychilous type hybrid, but it was found in a flower shop. The flowers are quite waxier and thicker, and usually these types of orchids don't really lose color all that much genetically as they age. But even with orchids that are not genetically prone to lose their color, you can still have some sort of discolorations or different looking flowers if the orchid is stressed when you first purchase it. If it still has some buds that needs to open, the flowers can actually look different. So I'm only talking about aging flowers here which are genetically prone to fade, such as this one, which is such a pretty orchid, but look at that fading color. Oh, by the way, just a little sneak peek, I am reorganizing a little bit my grow space, and I moved all of the Phalaenopsis here, and they look very, very nice. I really like this space right now. What do you think? Do you like it? So don't worry about it way too much. Just think about the environment of your orchid, or if your orchid is healthy, or if your orchid is yellow or has a yellow pattern. Do you guys observe this with other colors of orchids? Let me know, because I do feel like yellow is the culprit here, is the black sheep. I feel like yellow orchids have some issues. Alrighty, so with that said, that's about it. Yeah, short and sweet for a Wednesday video. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed and you learned something new. And let me know in the comment section what other types of orchids are losing color for you. I do realize that we didn't talk about Cattleya orchids that change color, not necessarily fade, but change. But those are put in the same category as genetic. Yes, there are some Cattleyas which will lose color or go from orange to yellow or things of the sorts, but I feel like those are not as shocking. They're not gonna be like faded like this. They just go through a transition of color, and we do actually have a video on color changing orchids. I'll put it down below because I do think I talk about Cattleyas mainly there. Today was more about some very shocking changes of color, not really in the good way. This doesn't look as good. So if you want the Cattleya version, check the video down below because I remember I did that video a few years ago. Right, so with that said, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day and I'll see you all next time. Bye.